Hearing that audio, how do you think President Biden's involvement was in Hunter Biden's business and influence schemes?
Well, Greg, there used to be a time in America where honor meant something, and if your own son took advantage of you and the nation and your position of elected strength, you would resign. You would say, look, this is an embarrassment to my family. It's an embarrassment to the country. He's done things that are illegal. He's done things that are unethical. He's benefited to the tune of millions of dollars off of my policies and off of the country. And even if President Biden wasn't involved and didn't benefit, he would resign because of the embarrassment to his family and our country. But the more that comes out, it looks like he absolutely knew about these things and that he may have financially benefited from it. And he has bragged publicly about things that he did in other nations that ultimately helped his son, Hunter Biden. So he absolutely should resign. But unfortunately, there is no honor in this White House.
Isn't it interesting that other nation you just mentioned was Ukraine? Interesting. All right, if Mayorkas was lying under oath regarding the Disinformation Governance Board and even meeting with Twitter to plan policing domestic speech, are there legal implications there?
Yeah, it could be up to 5 years in prison, actually. So, lying to Congress has a hefty penalty. And, of course, this DOJ and this Congress will, of course, not investigate him. But potentially after November, when Republicans take over the House, they have promised and talked about, many of them talked about the fact that there will be investigations into many of these different areas. This one, I think, is going to be one that they may pursue. But absolutely, yes, the penalty could be up to 5 years in prison if it's proven he lied to Congress.
Interesting. Joe is headed to the kingdom, but previously he decried then President Donald Trump for meeting with the Saudis, and he promised to make the nation a pariah, stating this.
There's very little social redeeming value in the present government in Saudi Arabia.
Now, Rick, the Saudi government hasn't changed, so what's different for Joe this time?
Wait, Greg, you're not suggesting that Joe Biden would be hypocritical or change his tune, or that a politician would say one thing in an election and then do something totally different once they're in office, are you? Yeah, of course that's what he's doing. There's no doubt about it. And he's trying to get Saudi to bail him out for his incredibly, horribly bad policies we talked about earlier that everybody's paying for at the pump. And he's looking for international help to bail him out when the answer's right here in the U.S. if he would just change his policies.
All right, the press secretary offered this defense of President Biden's total policy meltdown.
We have to remember where this country was more than a year ago when he walked into office.
Okay, Rick, I remember $2.16 a gallon for gas. That's one thing I remember. What do you remember about our nation and our life before Biden was sworn in?
Man, I remember being energy independent. I remember being a strength among the world and a nation that other nations wouldn't mess with and certainly wouldn't invade their neighbors, knowing that we would step in and help those neighbors if necessary. I remember being a nation where we could wave the flag and be proud of it, where there was healing taking place instead of constant division. That's the America I remember, and that's the America we can get back to. But leadership, man, a nation rises and falls with that, and that's up to us who we choose as those leaders.
All right, Rick, we heard the story about Musk meeting Twitter staff tomorrow. Free speech will be a major topic at that meeting. Well, listen to this unique First Amendment perspective from Brandon Vestal.
Because when they gave us the freedom of speech, that's back when everyone lived in farms. And you can like, yeah, say whatever you want. No one's going to hear you. Who cares? Like, if you want to talk some smack to George Washington, you had to get in a buggy.
All right, that's humorous, but what would our founding fathers have thought of Twitter? About a minute here.
Oh, man, I think they would have loved it. It would have been the modern day amazing committee of correspondence where you could reach people so quickly and reach so many of them, and be a great tool for Americans to be able to stand up and say what they believe. At least that's the way Twitter was originally released and designed. I think they would be extremely disappointed with where it's gone and the attempt to silence your neighbors, to silence other Americans and other people across the world from speaking their minds. So started off really good. I think Ben Franklin probably would have actually come up with Twitter if he had been alive today. So I love Dry Bar, by the way. Angel Studios does a great job with those guys.
Yeah, Twitter has become Angry Birds. That's the problem. They mix the two. Rick will be back in just a moment. Fior, back to you.